Alright, hello friends. So today I'm just going to be peacefully playing Skyblock while talking about traumatic life experiences. Hooray, this is going to be so much fun. So one of these traumatic life experiences actually happened 2 days ago, or 1 day ago, because it happened at like 12:30 a.m. We put the family dog of 16 years down. Yeah, it was pretty sad, not gonna lie. The dog was very old, very old, and it was sad that we had to put him down, but yeah. So what pretty much what happened was the dog randomly at like 10:30 had a seizure, and pretty much we decided to my dad was outside holding her so that she wasn't like on the ground freaking out. She was like foaming at the mouth, like drooling a ton herself. The dog was a small Jack Russell Terrier, so that's why she lived for 16 years. But yeah, when you think of Jack Russells, you do not think of this type of Jack Russell, because this Jack Russell did not bark at anyone except for when she wanted food. After an hour, we just realized she went brain dead, and she was just done. So pretty much what we decided to do was I think it's time to put her down. None of my family except for me and my mom could actually bring themselves to go, and even when we were there at the time of the euthanization, I think that's what you say, my mom couldn't stay in to watch, and I was just there with the doctor, and it was very peaceful. I am glad that they do it the way they do, because it's very humane of them to do it like they do. But I need to craft a pickaxe. But, or do I have it in here? I think I have a pickaxe in here. I do. But, yeah, so that was pretty traumatic. It was very calm, but I did not think it was going to happen at that day. But it ended up happening on that day. So, yeah, that was pretty bad. Another one. I started this channel when I moved into this house, well, like a month afterwards in January. But the first month we moved into this house, the first day we moved into this house, one of my guinea pigs was having breathing problems, and we took him to the vet. Well, my mom took him to the vet, and then she just comes back 2 hours later, and he was like, oh, he's dead. And I was just like, excuse me? He's what? And my sisters were crying, and my mom was crying, so I knew that was true. I did end up, breaking down because it was so sudden. With my dog that got put down 2 days ago, I wasn't as upset because it was like she lived a long, good life. But we only had that guinea pig, Goose, for, 8 months? We still have the other one we got with him, but, God, yeah, it was very, that spider just fell off, imagine. But yeah, it was very sudden, and it was difficult for all of us. Anyway, away from the pets, another one I have is when I was backpacking with my dad, alone. Just me and him out in the woods. We had brought in tents, everything like that. It was epic. I get it, my inventory's full. Anyway, I was backpacking with my father, and we were setting up camp, and it was probably like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and what the hell? And so what actually ended up happening is my dad was being my dad, and he was just cutting through he was using the back of his machete, which is like a saw, to cut some wood for a fire. And what ended up happening was he don't have enough points to screw you. He he nearly cut his pinky off after his hand slipped, and it was like he yelled, and I was like, oh, what happened? What happened? What happened? I was only like 9 at the time, and he came up, and his like finger was like bleeding profusely. I was like, oh God, no. So yeah, that was pretty dramatic. Very. Oh, I'm about to die. Nice. I need to get some coal somewhere. But yeah, that was quite the ordeal. I just remember it being scary as balls, just seeing his finger just there, just kind of just like all bloody, just hanging there, and I was just like, oh God. Yeah, that was interesting. But the rest of the trip went absolutely amazing. Like, nothing really bad happened apart from I could have sworn there was a bear because it was like in the time of bear season, but I don't really think that was true. We went to a very nice place, and I wouldn't have done anything differently on that trip except for the finger part. Yeah, it was a nice trip. Anyway, back to pets. Again, hooray. This one was my dad's dog. This was a long time ago. I was like 6 years old, but I still remember it very well. She had cancer and she had 3 legs, and like she was in like just a lot of pain. Like after, like obviously right after her surgery, she was in a lot of pain, but like after that, she was doing decently fine. And then one day, I don't think it was one day, but I think over the like 1 week, she was really just not doing good, and it was just about time for her to get put down. But she was only 7 years old, which was very sad. It was a German short hair, and it was a great freaking dog. I loved that dog. But pretty much took her to the vet actually, and just ended up getting put down. I wasn't actually in the room when it happened because I was 6 and I was like just sad and scared of what was happening because I knew she was dying. Like I knew they were putting her down, but I wasn't like just ready for it. But pretty much, God, it was traumatic. Honestly, I just remember going to the car and being super super upset, and I just ended up like just sitting there, and my dad came in, and I think that's like one of the 2 times I've seen my dad cry ever. And seeing your dad cry is not something you want to see. So that was very sad for both of us. But yeah, those are the only like traumatic pet experiences I have actually. And gold mine. I have a stone pick. Okay, I'm back. I'm gonna get a bit more of this stuff. But, yeah, that was traumatic. Anyway, another traumatic life experience, not so traumatic, but like more just something that was bad that I remember super, super well, was when I broke my wrist when I was very young. Like, very, very, very young. I was probably like, not very, very, very young. I would say I was probably 9 years old, 8 years old. I was in 3rd grade. That's all I remember. But what happened was I was going to a bike race at a snow park, which had like a little like track that we were racing on. I guess it was for very young kids, and it was supposed to be great. I was super pumped up. Like I could feel that I was going to do well. I was on a no suspension like red Isola bike, and some kids there had like some super nice ass bikes. Oh, that tree just grew. Some kids there had like super nice ass bikes, but I still just felt like I was gonna beat them. So what happened is I decided to go to the top for a test lap. Yes, a test lap. Test. And so what ended up happening is on my first freaking run, I hit like a sandy part, and I just fell and my wrist like just pretty much immediately broke. And I was just like, oh, fuck, are you kidding me? Because I felt it immediately as well, which was like the worst. So as soon as I felt it, like I didn't get back up for a little while. Oh, those are my torches. Give me my torches. I didn't get back up for a little while, so yeah, it was. It didn't hurt as bad as I thought it would, but it definitely hurt. Uh, from what I remember, it wasn't the worst pain I ever felt. I think the worst pain I've ever felt is like just emotional pain. But yeah, it was first run. My parents couldn't. My parents didn't even take me to like a place to get fixed up because I guess they were either closed or they just didn't want to. And so I was in pain, and I couldn't really do anything with my left hand, which is like my strong hand and stuff like that. And then you know what happened? My mom sent me to school. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Yeah, my mom sent me to school. That was pretty not epic, if I do say so myself. I'm just going to make sure no moms spawn down here and stuff. But yeah, my mom sent me to school the next day when my strong hand was broken and I couldn't write. And that was the same day I happened to have a freaking math test. So I was just like, are you kidding me? Why would you do this? I am your son. Are you here to cause me pain or are you here to raise me? So yeah, that wasn't very fun, to say the least. I think that was, you could call it traumatic, but it wasn't the most traumatic thing. But that was just, I haven't forgiven my mom for that yet. Don't know if I ever will. Now I think about it, I haven't really had traumatic experiences in school, but the closest thing to one was probably in 8th grade. 8th grade or 8th grade or 3rd grade, or was it? Yeah, 8th grade or 3rd grade. And in 8th grade, half of my class was, it wasn't traumatic, it was like nothing really bad happened. Well, it kind of is. Something bad kind of did happen. So, like, we had a sub that day who happened to be female, and a lot of my gym class was extremely inappropriate, like half of them, because they were, like, the popular kids group. And so, it was super funny. Well, not super funny, but, like, it was not, like, we weren't just getting, like, mad over it, but, like, the popular kids started, like, moaning, because we were doing planks, and they started pretending to, like, hump the ground, and they were pretending to... They were just moaning, and yeah, I think you might get the reference now. But it was so funny because where did I put my notes over here? It was so funny because the next day, server reboot, The next day we got called in by the vice principal, who happened to be one of the biggest I've ever met, and so, well, what happened was, what happened was, he called us in, and it was in gym class, and it was my last period of the day. Nobody knew why, and then he called us in, and he was like, hey, that is borderline sexual harassment, and, like, we couldn't laugh, because we'd get in such deep shit by the principal, but I swear, dude, it was so funny. Like, me and my friends would look over to each other constantly and just, like, peep a little smile at each other because we all knew it was, oh, server reboot. Because we all knew it was, like, total BS. And so, we ended up having to write 3 freaking apology letters. 3 to the freaking vice principal, who literally had nothing to do with it except for calling us in. And so we had to write 3 letters, 1 to the sub, 1 to the gym teacher who was out that day because I don't know why. And then one to the lady who we were sexually harassing. Yeah, but it was just dumb. It was just so unbelievably dumb. I can't even explain it. In third grade, I I used to like football in third grade, and so I had a couple friends in my class who played football, and just a lot of people who play football at gym, and so I would play with them sometimes. I would sometimes play with them, and the first day I did actually, it didn't stop me from going. First day, it was we couldn't have control over the main field because just a bunch of people played there, like soccer and stuff like that, which I ended up playing a lot in in fifth grade. Sorry, oh, but yeah, it was funny. Oh, okay, that didn't happen. So the first day I went there, we were playing two touch, I believe, because tackle football was illegal in elementary school. I think it still is in school because apparently it's dangerous. I mean, obviously it's illegal in school now because of COVID. But what ended up happening was on my first freaking play, I got the ball and I was looking like I was gonna score, and because one of the kids actually that I was playing with, if you watch football and you like the Patriots, you might know who Drew Bledsoe is. It was his nephew, who was a good friend of mine at the time, and oops. And so what's happened was we were playing two touch. He's strong. He's very big. He was like 5'10" in third grade. He was massive. And so what ended up happening was he shoved me, kind of like shoved me, like because we weren't allowed to tackle, but we didn't like to touch. He kind of you just shove each other to the ground, like not very hard. But because I was like 3'11", I was less than 4 feet in third grade, and he was freaking 5'10". He was over 2 feet taller than me, I believe. Uh, Maybe like a foot and 3/4 taller than me. He pushed me, and I immediately went. I immediately went straight into the ground, and when I mean straight into the ground, I mean like nose straight into the ground. I've never gotten a bloody nose before. That's a hoe. I don't want the fucking hoe. You're a fucking hoe. Yeah. So I went straight to the ground, plop on my face, and my nose immediately started gushing, and he was super nice about it. He was like super. He was like, "Oh, dude, are you okay?" and stuff like that. I ended up going to the nurse, but dude, I had never had a bloody nose before. I thought I was going to. It's bedrock. I thought I was going to die because I legit. Well, I had like I never gotten a bloody nose before. I was freaking like freaking out. So I went to the nurse and it was all fine. And the last one of this video, which I will probably have another one of these in the future. Oh, there goes the torch. Is it happened back in second grade. And so what happened was I was playing indoor soccer, aka futsal back then, but it happened on Tuesdays. And my school, back when I went to a Catholic school, this was in second grade. And so what was going on was I was just in class. School got out. I don't know what time school got out that day, but I think the school got out like 3:30 on that day. Oh, I've reached the end. Cool. Yeah, school got out 3:30, and my mom had come to pick me up, and I had completely forgotten about it. And so we had these forms that you'd have to mark if you did something bad every day. And if you got like a certain amount of marks, you would go down to the office, or like if you got a certain amount of marks a day, you go to the office. If you got a certain amount of marks in a week, you would go to the office, like, and you'd have to do some sort of punishment. And so, freaking my mom, I had been a pretty decent student in second grade. So my mom, we were in class. She picked me up an hour early for futsal because my mom's nice that way. Except for when she sent me to school with a broken freaking wrist, but we don't speak about that. But I already spoke about it. So oh crap, let me come. She was right outside the door, and she was like, and she whispered me, "Hey, Will, we gotta go tell your teacher." But before she even said, "Tell your teacher," I was like, I completely forgot about it. And I was, remember, I was freaking in 2nd grade. I was super young. I was freaking like 7, 8 years old. And I just shouted, "Fuck! Futsal!" And everyone, I kid you not, everyone was looking at me like they had just seen a ghost. And my teacher just like, she didn't react. She was calling me just like, "Mark your form." And so I was like, "Oh, sorry." And she was like, "No, actually, mark your form 5 times." So I had to go down to the office the next day. And I mean, it makes sense. I was a 2nd grader who just yelled "fuck" at the top of their lungs. And so, freaking, I left without any consequence that day. But the day I got back, I got sent to the office. And of course I did. But I ended up having to go to the office and like do work for the office people because we didn't really have detention back then. I had to do work for the office people for the next like 3 weeks or something, except for on days. Well, during recess I had to do it like after lunch. I couldn't go out to recess. We had three recesses: a morning, a lunch, and a afternoon. And it was freaking amazing. And so I couldn't do any of that anymore, and it made me sad, but I think it was for a good reason. And that was traumatic because the ladies there, the principal was an absolute bitch. So she made it so difficult, and she would like yell at me if I did something wrong. I never told my parents because I just didn't really feel the need to, because I was like, it's my punishment. But now I think about it, I probably should have told my parents about it because they were being very, very douchebaggy. And that's pretty much just a couple of my traumatic life experiences. If you want me to talk more about some traumatic life experiences, I am down happy. I'm like perfectly happy with talking about it, and it's fun to talk about for me, and I hope it's fun for you guys to listen. But thank you guys. Oh crap. Get clapped. Ow. Yeah, die. But yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will most likely be back with another one of these in the near future. So, please subscribe if you would like. It was very much appreciated. Actually, quite a percentage of the people who view my videos are actually subscribed to me. I think it's like 62% or something like that. But if you are part of the 38% or 30-something% that are not subscribed and you watch my videos, please subscribe. It is very appreciated, and it helps me out a lot. It's free. You can always unsubscribe later. I sound like George Not Found, but American. Yeah. But thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you next time.